Happy Wednesday, John. So I was going to make you a video about the World War II stuff that I've been waiting to do for forever now, and I started looking through my notes and realized that it's all just references to page numbers in books that I need to get again. So that's not happening tonight. Probably gonna have to wait until after the conference, which is in 2 weeks. So my next video might be really, really rushed. But yeah, hopefully there'll be some cool stuff that I get out of there, and we can talk about it in the next video. So today, I wanted to kind of ramble a bit about some stuff that I was experiencing playing games and working on a game myself. So recently, I beat The Vanishing of Ethan Carter and Fract. And if you're not familiar with either of these games, the basic premise with The Vanishing of Ethan Carter is that there's this mysterious town that has supernatural things happening to it, and you're trying to kind of figure out what happened and solve some like murders as a detective. And you kind of use like these like spiritual, supernatural powers that you have as the detective to piece together the clues to kind of recreate the scene, and then you like visualize the scene as the murder was happening to kind of piece together all the events. And the other game is called Fract. It's like all based around music, and you're playing like these giant musical instruments made out of buildings, essentially, that like generate interesting music. So the reason I'm talking about both of these games and how they relate to my game is that the two of these games kind of approach basically just letting the player figure stuff out, right? So The Vanishing of Ethan Carter actually does this thing at the beginning, and it says, just text on the screen, disclaimer, this game is a narrative experience that does not hold your hand. It wasn't so much that like, oh, I don't want to like think about this, I just want you to like hold my hand and like take me through it. Like that wasn't really my problem with it. I didn't want that. I wanted to like discover the world and to understand things and to like figure stuff out on my own, right? But there was a lot of like mechanical things that they just never explained, right? So there was this one part of most of the game where you find a clue and it's missing something. So like somebody took something from one spot and put it somewhere else, right? And if you look at it, it says like, hey, this thing looks like it's missing like a crank, like to wind something up, right? And so that's like the first thing that you find that is like this. And there's just like these words that appear all over, like a word bubble that just say crank, 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 right? And you're like, oh man, I gotta find a crank. That's, where am I gonna find that? Like looking, and you're like, where is this? And you like walk away and like, I don't know where it is. And it turns out that you have to stay exactly where you are and look around until all the words converge and make one word crank, and then you have to hold a button that like does this premonition thing to show you where the area is that the crank is in, and then you have to go find it. So that was not intuitive at all, and it wasn't messaged, and it wasn't like, well, it doesn't hold your hand, so like I'm glad they made me figure that out. It was just like, man, now I'm pissed, right? Like they made me figure this stupid thing out, and like I don't understand, this is just dumb. Anyway, so that didn't really work for me, and there were a lot of like just, it seemed like badly messaged things, right, where things just weren't explained well, and so I felt like I was just missing information, not like, oh, I didn't figure it out, oh, I was too dumb to figure it out, or I didn't take the time. It was just like, oh, that felt dumb. Like, I wish they would have just told me, like, oh, this is what you're doing, and then I could have been like, oh, okay, I get it, let me try to figure that out, let's puzzle it now, let's be a detective and find the clues, but like I didn't have all the things that I needed to be able to find the clues. So that's frustrating. So I'm going to do this as a two-parter. In the next video, we're going to pick up where we left off and keep talking a little bit about Vanishing of Ethan Carter and talk about Fract and talk about our game. So, yeah, look forward to that, and I'll see you in a week.